all the same. There's something inside you. It's hard to explain.
Alright, so before we get started, I have a little director's note. Anytime I make a long tutorial like this to try to teach you guys in the best possible manner, there is definitely bound to be some problems in the editing department. And what I was going to try to do to make this a lot shorter, as you can see it's really long, what I was going to try to do to make it shorter was to speed through the examples by speeding up the clips. But that didn't work, and it screwed up some of the audio in the process. So what I've tried to do is to include little timestamps in the description so you can skip through the examples so you don't have to watch me shoot free throws for 2 minutes if you don't want to, and you can just stick to the commentary, which is the bread and butter of this tutorial. So sorry about that. It's a long video, but if you got time, go ahead and watch it, and maybe it'll help you a little bit more. But let's get started.
Yo, what's up guys? My name is Ryan, but a lot more people know me as Shookya, and this is the perfect release tutorial for free throws. The goal of this little tutorial is to get you into a comfort zone to the point where you can shoot from the free throw line about 90% or better, regardless of the team you're using and regardless of the player that gets sent to the free throw line in any online matches that you play. And this video is going to be a great segue into the perfect release tutorial for jump shots that I have coming out this weekend. So subscribe if you haven't yet, because I also have some really good tutorials coming out in the following weeks that address offense, defense, dribble moves, post moves, dunks, layups, things like that. So this video is going to be a great place to start to get a really good understanding of how the shooting mechanics work in this game. So let's get started. Personally, I think there are like two types of releases in this game when it comes to free throws. One I like to call an abnormal release, and another I just like to call like a normal release. And Shane Battier is going to be the perfect person to start out this tutorial, because if you take a look at his stats from the free throw line, he has a 62 rating. He's a good shooter, but apparently he's absolute garbage from the free throw line. So to get this little technique across to you guys, I think Shane Battier is going to be the perfect person to use to start. And another thing to address really quick is whether or not to use the X button or the right stick. And personally, I like to use the right stick, because when I pull back on it and then I release it, it feels really fluid. It goes with the motion of the perfect release. So that's my preference, and that's what I would suggest to you guys to do. So let's put up 20 shots with Shane Battier, and we'll go from there. Okay. So before we do that, I want to tell you guys the technique and the style that I like to use when shooting free throws. And so with abnormal releases, there's a lot of body movement. And that's what really gives away where the perfect release is at. So a lot of people, your intuition is going to tell you to look at the arms to try to find the perfect release right there. But that's completely wrong. I mean, to some extent it's right, because when we get to players like Ray Allen, it's a little bit more right, and Russell Westbrook. But for right now, what I want you to do is to try to look at the number and to try to look at the name on the back of their jersey and use your peripheral vision to kind of read their body language and zero in the perfect release like that. And also what you're going to want to do is to try to use the tips that the game gives you to also try to find that perfect release. But let's put up 20 shots and see what we can do. What I want to do is I'm also going to issue you guys a challenge to use this technique. If anyone can put up a better score than I can with Shane Battier out of 20 shots, I will send you a 1600 Microsoft point card to the first person that gets it on video and uploads it as a video response to this tutorial right here. So enough talking, let's put up 20 shots and see what we can get out of 20, what percentage we can get. All right, so there you go. What a great way to end on a perfect release. I really felt like I zeroed it in at the end there with the help from the game. But 16 for 20, 80% from the line. I don't think you guys are going to really understand how hard that is unless you try it. So if anybody can get 17 out of 20 or 18 or 19 or even 20 out of 20 with Shane Battier, you got 1,600 Microsoft points coming towards you. But to take a look at how the releases look, especially with using your peripherals to look at the body language, it's definitely good for people that have bad releases. But 80% is definitely a huge improvement for a 62 rating. I'm surprised I did so well on a first take like that. But let's move on to some different shooters, and I'll show you how well it works. We'll see if we can't get a couple of 100%s, 20 out of 20s. But I thought that would be a great way to start to try to explain this technique to you guys. But let's move on. Let's move on to let's take a look here. Let's move on to LeBron James, and then I think we'll go to Ray Allen, maybe Chris Bosh, and then I think we'll do another bad release. We'll do Joel Anthony with a 69, and we'll test out this technique. So let's move on to LeBron James. All right, so here we go with LeBron James. LeBron James has another abnormal release. There's a lot of body movement, so you're going to want to use your peripheral vision to read that body language and to try to zero in the perfect release like that. You're also going to want to use the tips from the game to try to dial it in, whether or not it tells you early or late, to try to find that perfect release. But LeBron James is a 77, so we're going to aim for like a 95%. Maybe we'll even get a 20 out of 20, a 100%. But with this technique, you're definitely going to find that it's a lot easier to hit most of your free throws from the line if you have any decent rating. So let's put up 20 shots and see if we can't get a 95%. All right, so there you go, 19 for 20, 95% from the line. You can really see this technique is really shining through. 95% from the line with 35% perfect release, and he is 77 rated from the free throw line. So let's move on to a little bit better shooter in Ray Allen, who is, let's see, he is a 92 from the free throw line. So we're going to aim for 20 out of 20. Then we'll do some post players, and Chris Bosh, who has a little bit better rating than LeBron James as well. We'll aim for 20 out of 20 there. And then we'll finish up with Joel Anthony and see if we can't get a really good percentage, even though he's got a 69 from the free throw line. So let's move on to Ray Allen. All right, so here we go with Ray Allen. I think it would be disgraceful if we used this technique and didn't get 100%, so we're going to aim for 20 out of 20. And the thing with Ray Allen is he has a normal release, so there isn't a lot of body movement. But I still like to use my peripheral vision to read his body language because he does go up on the balls of his feet on the perfect release or right around the perfect release. So I kind of like to pay attention to that a little bit. But let's put up 20 shots and see if we can't get 100% on the first take. All right, so here we go. All right, no real surprise there. Good way to end on an excellent release. 35% perfect, 20 for 20, 100% from the line. I think it would only be difficult if I try to go 100 for 100. I might slip up a little bit somewhere in there, but it isn't too difficult to use this technique and never miss a free throw with someone that's rated pretty high 80s, low 90s. So let's move on to, let's take a look here. Let's move on to Chris Bosh. We'll aim for 20 out of 20 with him as well, using this technique because he's got a decent release. And then we'll move on to, we'll end with Joel Anthony with a 69 and see if we can't get a 90 release, or maybe an 85. I might be getting a little bit too excited here, but let's see what we can do with Chris Bosh. Now, the thing with Chris Bosh that you have to remember, and shooters like him, is there is a lot of body movement, especially with post players. But Chris Bosh does have a good free throw rating, so his arms, his release, the snap of his wrist is going to be pretty crisp. But I would still look probably right around his shoulder area to the name on his jersey, so you can use your peripherals to read his body language and dial in that perfect release. But let's put up 20 shots and see if we can't get 20 for 20 with an 82 rating. All right, so there you go, 20 for 20, 100% from the line with 55% perfect releases. What you start to do when you practice these, I'm a first take master, but what you start to realize with releases like this is you start to see mental pictures with the perfect release or where the perfect release is at, and his elbow, the snap of his elbow is a dead giveaway to where the perfect release is at, and you start to notice those things when you put some experience or when you put some practice in, you get the experience. So the muscle memory is there. After all you have to do is practice to really get this stuff down, but you can really see that this technique works. But let's move on to Joel Anthony and see if we can't first take this into an 85-90% as well, and that would be really impressive with only a 69 rating. So let's see if we can't put up 20 shots with Joel Anthony and end this on a good note with a really decent percentage using this technique of reading body language instead of just looking at the arms. So I'm going to be probably looking right around his number, lower or upper back area. So let's put up 20 shots and see what we can do. So there you go. What a way to end it with a perfect release. 17 for 20 from the line, 85%, 65% of those shots were perfect releases. And Joel Anthony is a 69 rated free throw shooter, so 85% is definitely a great score. And as you can see, this technique works great, especially if they have a decent release, like a normal release. You can really see that it's all in the body language. So this technique you can definitely see works. So that pretty much wraps it up today for me. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you haven't. Coming this weekend is the jump shot tutorial for perfect releases. So look forward to that. Another quick tip for you guys to get your free throw game on point is my little tip for you guys. Something that I do is I jump into a game mode, then I go to practice, and I go to free throw right here. And before I play any online matches, I'll shoot about 3 to 5 shots with each of my players, and then some of the ones that I sub in as well. And I just try to get my perfect releases down before I get into any games, because if I do play anybody good, I want to be able to make sure that I get all my games, all my close games, I close them out, and I don't have any problems from the free throw line, because you really need every point you can get. But thanks for watching, guys. That's pretty much going to do it for me. I'll see you guys this weekend, and I hope this helps you. But that's pretty much all I got. Peace out.
Inside you, it's hard to explain.